37% of Americans have lost at least one relationship to politics, and the 2024 election accelerated the trend faster than 2016 did. Two-thirds of Americans are now more afraid of running out of money than dying, up 10% in 3 years, and researchers have identified these specific biological compounds in coffee that explain its documented health benefits. And believe it or not, it has nothing to do with caffeine. Consider this your daily detour from whatever everybody else is furious about. I'm Keith Conrad, and this is News Side Quest. A new study published this week gives a name and a number to something a lot of people have been living with without having a word for it. The researchers call it a political breakup. A large-scale study drawing on 4 data sets totaling nearly 3,000 participants found that 37% of Americans reported losing a relationship with a friend, family member, romantic partner, coworker because of political differences. Of those who reported a political breakup, 62% had lost a friendship, 40% a family relationship, 29% a coworker relationship, and 10% a romantic partnership. That trend appears to be accelerating. A comparison of breakups stemming from the 2016 and 2024 elections found that the 2024 election surpassed 2016 in roughly half the time. Participants' own recollections showed a sharp uptick in breakups beginning around 2016, a shift the researchers say is hard to explain by recency bias alone. A clear partisan divide emerged in who's doing the cutting. Democrats were more likely than Republicans to report having lost a relationship over politics, and among those who did, Democrats were more likely to say they initiated the split. The researchers note that social desirability may play a role. Republicans may underreport breakups while Democrats may overreport them, but the gap remained even when controlling for partisanship strength and demographic differences. The lead researcher made an observation worth sitting with. Friendships may be uniquely vulnerable to political breakups as they are close enough to allow for political differences to surface, while lacking the commitments and constraints that hold romantic and family relationships together. It's easier to cut a friend or acquaintance off whose politics annoy you than it is your boyfriend or uncle. I want to say this carefully here because this show doesn't do politics, and I'm not going to start now. But I think there's a distinction worth making between the two very different things that can both result in a political breakup. The first is ending a relationship because someone's political views make them genuinely incompatible with who you are or the life you're trying to lead. That's a real and legitimate reason. The second is ending a relationship because someone voted differently than you did in an election without ever having a real conversation about why. Those aren't the same thing, and I think the second one is producing a lonelier country without making anyone's life meaningfully better. So how do you fix it? Do you find other things to talk about and ignore politics entirely, or do you actually engage and discover the other side isn't quite as evil as you thought? Have you ever successfully navigated a serious political difference with someone you cared about, not avoided it? Actually navigated it? What made it work?
The politics of failure have failed. We need to make them work again.
The Alliance Center for the Future of Retirement released its 2026 annual study this week, and number 1 in it is the kind that stops you mid-scroll. 67% of Americans said they are now more worried about running out of money than they are about dying. That's up 10 percentage points from 2022, when 57% said the same thing. Gen Xers led the group, followed by millennials and baby boomers, all of whom were over 50%. This actually makes a dark kind of sense when you think about it. If you're dead, you don't have to worry about evictions or garnished wages. Death is, for most people, something that happens at the end of a long life. It's abstract, it's distant. It's not arriving on Tuesday. Running out of money, on the other hand, has a very specific near-term consequence that people can visualize in precise detail. The credit card minimum you can't make, the medical bill you can't pay, the apartment you have to leave, the retirement that doesn't happen. The fear of running out of money isn't abstract. It comes with a specific set of humiliations that people can picture pretty clearly. The study found that concerns fueling this fear include Social Security not providing enough support, potential healthcare crises, high taxes, and general economic volatility. Market swings cause financial stress for 50% of respondents. The researchers also noted that most Americans don't know how to plan for retirement beyond contributing to a retirement account, don't know how Social Security fits into their strategy, and don't know what their healthcare costs will be or how to pay for them. That last part is important. A significant portion of retirement anxiety isn't just about not having enough money, it's about not knowing what enough even means or how to get there. That's a knowledge problem layered on top of a financial problem, and both of them are real. This connects directly to everything we've covered this week: the Peace of Mind survey, the Gen X retirement delay, the Gallup worst in 25 years numbers. The picture that's emerging from all of this isn't that Americans are irrational pessimists. It's that the financial infrastructure people were promised, the job, the retirement account, the affordable health care, the Social Security safety net, feels genuinely uncertain in ways it just hasn't before. So what would financial security actually look like for you? Not a number necessarily, the feeling. What would be the condition? What would have to be true for you to stop worrying about money, other than winning the lottery or something?
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
For decades, researchers have known coffee drinkers live longer, have lower rates of certain cancers, lower rates of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, lower rates of metabolic diseases, and lower cardiovascular mortality. The problem was that nobody could fully explain why. The obvious assumption was caffeine, but decaffeinated coffee showed many of the same benefits, which meant caffeine wasn't the whole story. Now, a Texas A&M University researcher just published findings that go a long way towards explaining the mechanism. His team identified that multiple compounds in coffee bind to specific receptors in the body and influence their activity in ways that are health protective and anti-inflammatory. Caffeine is not the driver, they said. The driver of the health benefits are the things in the coffee. Chemicals in the coffee are protective. The comparison they reached is a vegetable diet. The Mediterranean diet is rich in vegetables. Individuals on vegetable diets also have similar benefits. Basically, it's the chemicals in the coffee, just like it's the chemicals in vegetables. They're basically health protective, they're anti-inflammatory, and they have many health benefits. So what coffee actually is biologically is a delivery mechanism for a concentrated set of anti-inflammatory plant compounds, in a form that a significant portion of humanity has been enthusiastically consuming every morning for centuries. You're not drinking a stimulant, you're drinking a vegetable that also happens to wake you up. A separate study from Nature Communications published this week found that both caffeinated and decaf coffees altered gut bacteria in ways linked to a better mood, lower stress, and improved cognitive function. Decaf specifically improved learning and memory. Caffeinated coffee boosted focus and reduced anxiety, which is interesting because that's not my experience with coffee. The caffeine alone is probably enough for most people, but the news that the health benefits are baked into the plant chemistry itself, that they're there whether you're drinking regular or decaf, is meaningful for anyone who has ever been told to cut back on their coffee drinking. So what's your coffee situation, and is there anything that could actually make you give it up? The specific ritual, the specific cup, the thing that would have to change for you to walk away from it. Did I ever tell you about the time I worked on a morning show that was completely coffee-free? Me and both hosts. Somehow we made it through the morning every day.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
The SideQuest feed is deep into the Titanic series right now, and if you haven't checked it out yet, this week is a great time to start. Each episode has a free condensed version and a full extended cut for paid subscribers that covers the real story in the depth it deserves. If you like what we do here and want to help keep both feeds going, a paid Substack subscription is the best way to do it. Find SideQuest wherever you get your podcasts, or just visit newsidequest.com.
Bravo! That'll be hard to top. I pity the next. Tale of Interest!
NASA has updated its projections on the asteroid Apophis, confirming it will pass closer to Earth in April 2029 than many satellites currently in orbit, and will be visible to the naked eye. The asteroid is roughly the size of the Eiffel Tower. There's absolutely no impact risk at this passage. So you might want to set your 401k to aggressive. Although, maybe I should walk that back slightly in light of everything else we discussed today about financial anxiety.
Son, I think I can safely say,
A 28-year-old man was arrested in the Bronx after attempting to enroll as a student at a New York City high school, apparently managing to attend classes for a period before being identified. The not guilty by reason of insanity defense has genuine merit here, specifically the insanity of believing a 28-year-old could pass as a high school student. Here's a question I want you to think about, though. If you could somehow go back and do high school again, knowing what you know now, what's one thing you'd do differently?
Well, he's very popular, Ed. The sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads, they all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
A driver in Australia was hospitalized after his car slammed into a wall that had been painted to look like a tunnel entrance. The mural was apparently convincing enough at speed to produce a real collision. Wile E. Coyote was unavailable for comment. A Minnesota woman was charged after chasing down and firing at a driver who had hit a chicken in the road. The more pressing philosophical question is why the chicken was crossing the road to begin with. Wildlife endangerment charges are involved. The chicken's condition was not reported.
What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken?
That's it for today's news side quest. 3 questions out there for you today. Whether you've ever successfully navigated a real political difference with someone and what made it work, what financial security would actually feel like for you, and what your coffee situation is, and whether anything could change it. Email me at newssidequest@gmail.com, or let's chat it up in the Substack comments. See you tomorrow.